Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport and another member-only video. So if you are watching this, a massive thank you for supporting me, supporting the channel and for being a fan of motorsport. I'm glad I can share this passion with you. Previously we looked at the liveries of the 1993 British Touring Car Championship, but we are moving forward in time a little bit today and looking at the liveries at the 2001 24 Hours of Le Mans. The 69th running of the famous race had a massive field of 48 cars, and we are going to look at all of them. These were separated into 5 different classes: LMP 900, LMGTP, LMP 675, LMGTS and LMGT. I'll go through them in reverse order and based on their qualifying times, so we will start with the last placed LMGT car and end with the pole grabbing LMP 900. Ratings go from an S for spectacular livery down to an F for what the fuck have you done, I think I'm going to be sick. So with that, let me know your thoughts in the comments and let's jump into the video. Racing Engineering Porsche 911 GT3 RS. The LMGT class is made up of 10 Porsche 911s and a single Callaway C12R, so we will go through all the Porsches first, starting with the Racing Engineering car. I'm not a big fan of the 911 anyway. They always look a bit businesslike, and that doesn't help when it says fat on the bonnet. Bad sponsors aside, it's just white with some red bits and random sponsors slapped on the side. It's an F from me. Perspective Racing Porsche 911 GT3 RS. This is more like it, a nice black and orange pattern reminiscent of the Arrows Formula 1 cars of the time, except for one thing, that wristwatch on the side. It looks like it's been cut out really badly on Photoshop and added to the picture. It's horrendous. It literally makes me not want that watch. It's reverse advertising. I like the colours, but that watch turns this from a solid B to a D. Cycle Motorsport Porsche 911 GT3 RS. 2 Cycle Motorsport Porsches and both have completely different liveries. The 82 was white with a black tribal-like tattoo pattern that was popular at the time and still looks terrible. I feel sorry for every Nuts magazine reading moron who got one of those tattoos. It's an E, but the 83 has a rather pleasant yellow and black checkered flag livery on the sides and pure black down the middle. And whilst a little basic, I feel like they nailed the balance on this one. It stands out and is the best livery we have looked at so far. It's a B. Luke Alphand Adventure Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Another black and orange Porsche. Apparently that was the popular colours of the time. This one without a wristwatch on the side and replacing it with not much of anything. I do like the black stripe on the roof, so that does elevate a slightly dull livery into the realms of being C grade. PK Sport Limited Ricardo Porsche 911 GT3 RS. You'd think this would be a Swedish entry given its vibrant yellow and blue colour scheme, but it's actually a British entry with an all-British driver lineup. I like this one a lot. Yellow cars are always great, and the blue ribbon effect and sparse sponsor decals give this a real independent look and feel that stands out. And overall, it looks classy. It's an A. Null Del Bello Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Why have so many of these cars got badly digitised images on the side? I think they're flowers, although from a distance they look like brains. I feel like they've gone for a quirky light blue and pink scheme that looks like a seaside cafe's bathroom. I don't like it. It looks really old-fashioned, like looking at the ornaments on your nan's mantelpiece that she stole from a charity shop. F. Freisinger Motorsport Porsche 911 GT3 RS. This is an insane livery. Teeth at the front of the car, fluorescent bits on the side that really light up. It kind of looks like it was designed by a child with as many fun touches as possible. The teeth don't even look like fangs or anything frightening. They've given the Porsche more of a goofy smile. I like it. There is something very unique about this livery. I'm giving it an A. Team Taizan Advan Porsche 911 GT3 RS. You can tell by looking at this Porsche that this is a Japanese team. The livery is so very Super GT, or Japanese Grand Touring Car Championship. And in fact, Team Taizan were very successful, and the car looks great. The livery looks better on a Nissan Skyline, but it does still look great. Wouldn't look out of place in 2024. Definitely an A. Labra Competition Porsche 911 GT3 RS. And our final Porsche is probably the most businesslike of them all. The Labra Porsche is another red and black on white livery, but the dullest looking of them all. Nothing stands out, instantly forgettable. The worst thing about this is a few years previously, they had one of the all-time classic liveries, the black PlayStation Porsche. What went wrong? It's an E. Aspen Knowles MCR Callaway C12R. The monster Callaway Corvette deserves a livery that screams American muscle. Stars and stripes with an eagle on the front and a couple of rifles hanging off the back. What it doesn't deserve is Colgate. I think it's the wavy lines and the shades of blue and red that really make me think of toothpaste when I see this livery. It has nothing of the yellow and black Corvettes of today. 9 out of 10 dentists agree this livery is deserving of an F. Paul Belmondo Racing Chrysler Viper GTSR. Moving on to LM GTS and a Dodge Viper for Paul Belmondo, the former Formula 1 driver who ran his own team for a decade or so. Blue and yellow on a Viper just seems wrong. Again, it lacks American muscle. Yellow and black, yes. Yellow and blue, no. Also, there's something wrong with the way the sponsor logo is laid out. There's weird gaps. I don't like this one. It's an E. Equipe de France FFSA Chrysler Viper GTSR. A very French entry from the French Federation of Racing. A wonderful livery. I love the patriotic colours in their home race. And of course, PlayStation 2 sponsorship, which is a soft, nostalgic blanket for me. It has the exact stripes on the side I said Renault should have had in my last BTCC video. Vive la France indeed. This is an S-rank livery. Labre Competition Chrysler Viper GTSR. Not only did Labre have a Porsche, they also had a Viper, and it has exactly the same livery. So go back and check my comments on their Porsche, because basically that. Another E. Conrad Motorsport Celine S7R. 2 cars for the works, Celine entry ran by Conrad Motorsport. Absolutely fantastic livery on this one. Very of the time. It is a little bit busy, but I think it all fits together very nicely. What seals the deal is the yellow wheels. Nice match for the yellow lines on the side. This is a B-grade livery just because it is a little too busy. RML Celine S7R. Why would you get sponsorship from Cranium? It wasn't even a good board game. Otherwise, this is a very boring livery, plain white with Scania sponsorship to go alongside Cranium. At least all the sponsor logos match, they're all dark blue, but this is a boring livery with a bizarre sponsor. E. Cranium, really? Corvette Racing Pratt Chevrolet Corvette C5R. And the final GT cars are the Pratt Corvettes in their classic yellow livery. A lot of yellow cars in the Le Mans race in 2001, and whilst this is a classic livery, unspoiled by sponsors and a colour I would consider synonymous with Corvettes, they did go on to have much better liveries than this, so this is a C. S+R Rowan Racing Limited Pillbeam MP84. The rather odd-looking Pillbeam, which sadly only completed 3 laps of Le Mans before retiring, is still a very special car. It's bizarre to look at with its bulge in the bonnet and the hoop roll cage with what looks like a rocket behind the driver's head. The livery is also a bit of a mess, red at the back and white with red spots at the front. Too many sponsor logos dotted around, probably because they had to take funding from whoever offered it. This livery is not quite weird enough to match the car. It's a D. Dick Barber Racing Reynard 01Q. There were a couple of Reynards in the field. This was their final appearance as Reynard would close down a year later. This is a proper American livery from the legendary Dick Barber. Red and blue and silver. Not white, but it looks great. And Dick Barber's name on the wing is entirely necessary. Star on the back panel, it's almost perfect. Both liveries were similar, just with the red and blue reversed. They look equally great. It's an A. ROC Auto Reynard 2KQLM. Another blue and yellow car, this one with Telefonica sponsorship. Does look like the Minardi Formula 1 cars from the year previous, just with added blue lines. It looks okay, but I don't like the blue going into silver at the back. Just pick one. It's also very busy with sponsors, and to make it clear, I know that's necessary for smaller independent teams. If they didn't, they wouldn't arrive. Doesn't stop the car looking cheap or like a NASCAR. This isn't awful, but it's not amazing either, so it's a C. Rook Nighthawk Lola B2K40. A very American livery. I can't actually see any paint under all the sponsor decals. No thought went into this look whatsoever. F. Gerard Welter WRLMP01. The very special Gerard Welter sadly passed away a few years ago, but he really managed to grind out success at Le Mans. The car itself is very different from anything else on the grid. Gerard Welter designed it himself, and the nice yellow colour with black flanks is very French, much like the traditional Renault livery. Sponsors are laid out very neatly. This is a very pretty car. It's an A. MG Sport and Racing Limited MG Lola EX257. One of the best Le Mans liveries ever. Black and green classic MG. Very similar to liveries MG used in touring cars and rallying. It's a perfect S. Team Ascari A410. And now we start the LMP 900s, the busiest class in the 2001 Le Mans race. Ascari, despite being named after an Italian, were actually a British company. They made some very good looking road cars, but this car is ugly as sin. Silver and pinky purple, looks like a privateer F3000 entry from the early 90s, and given their performance at Le Mans, went like one also. This is an F. Panos Motorsports Panos LMP07. It's literally just red. Not even a nice shade of red. It looks like a tomato. A D, I guess. There's not really much to say about it. It's just red. Pescarolo Sport Courage C60. The Pescarolo team had some banging liveries at Le Mans, and this effort from 2001 is not one of them. The green and silver aren't a great match, and it is absolutely covered in sponsor stickers, to a ludicrous degree. The orange line separating the silver and green isn't great either. Very busy and plain ugly livery. I'll give it a little credit for being green. It's an E. SMG Courage C60. A team named after a gun. This is the better looking of the Courage cars, a nice shade of blue with a red line. Having Speedy be your sponsor might be cheating, but given they retired after 50 laps, maybe not. I like it. It's smart. I like the way the sponsor logo is integrated into the livery. This is a B. Viper Team Orica Chrysler LMP. This covers all three of the Vipers because they all have the same livery. It's plain, smart, but nothing special. PlayStation 2 sponsor under the Chrysler logo, and silver is a nice, smart, clean base colour. But the blue front splitter and rear ring look like they've come from another car. It's a C. Team Den Bla Avis Go Dome S101. A pretty dull livery, nothing really stands out about it. Red and white for the Danish team. I guess that fits. Sponsors slammed along the side half-heartedly. The Japanese aspect of the team is covered with the flag at the front as well. But you could have done something really special to marry both cultures. Like bacon and cherry blossoms. This is a D. Racing for Holland Dome S101. This is an interesting livery, very different to any other I've ever seen. They've taken all their sponsors and assembled them in black and white checks all over the car. To the point it looks like a magic eye puzzle, and I can't actually read the name of the sponsors. So they didn't get their money's worth in 2001. It is truly awful, a headache-inducing livery. This is an F. Dams Cadillac Northstar LMP01. Again, this is a very plain livery. The silver is the Cadillac colour of choice, and it does look like a Cadillac livery. Nothing special about it whatsoever. This is also a D. Johansson Motorsport Audi R8. Audis are usually pretty boring to look at, as boring as they are successful actually, but the Stefan Johansson ran Audi ran in Gulf Oil racing colours, which are of course historic and legendary and always look great. It's kept very clean and retro, and yeah, it looks good. This is an A. Champion Racing Audi R8, and the Champion Racing Audi also looks really good. It's a bit of a 90s design, but it still looks fresh and modern. Again, very clean, clear responses, and this look is what I think of when I think of Champion Racing. This was the North American ran entry, and they know how to make the car stand out. This is also an A. Audi Sport Team Just Audi R8. And the classic works Audi livery that really lets the brand down. I know silver is their colour, but Cadillac already have that covered here. And these were the favourites to win the race, which they did. One red and one yellow, but both look very similar. I've never been a fan of these Audi colours. They are clean and recognisable, I guess. So, a D. Team Bentley EXP Speed 8. I saved the Bentleys for last because I didn't want to end on the boring Audi liveries. This historic livery is the reason the Bentley return to Le Mans wasn't just incredible, it was breathtaking. Obviously an S, maybe even breaks the scale and gets an unofficial SSS. British Racing Green, classic yet modern. I love it, one of the all-time great racing liveries. So they are all the liveries from the 2001 24 Hours of Le Mans. Some very good, mostly very bad ones. A sign of the times, I think. The 2000s were a case of not having their own identity, whilst the 90s were trying to die. Thank you very much if you watched this video and have supported the channel. I couldn't do what I do without you. There will be more members only content incoming on the last day of every month, so come back again for more livery reviews. Check out the last one on the British Touring Cars Championship of 1993. Thank you very much again, and have a good one.